This is Chapter 8, Final Unit Test. Vocabulary set. Across the top, we read precedents, First Attorney General, amount the government owes, tax on imports, First Secretary of War. Along the left-hand side, we read national debt, tariff, traditions, Henry Knox, Edmund Randolph. Next vocabulary set. Across the top, we read tax protest, diplomat, not taking sides, force into military service, agreement with Spain. Along the left side, we read neutrality, Whiskey Rebellion, Pinckney's Treaty, Edmund Gannett, impressment. Next vocabulary set, we read across the top, political parties, to legally overturn, French foreign minister, Federalist, Democratic Republican. Along the left-hand side, we read Alexander Hamilton, Charles de Talleyrand, nullify, Thomas Jefferson, factions. Next question, we read blank generally believed in a strong federal government and supported policies of the Washington administration. Choices, Federalists or Anti-Federalists. Next question. Blank wanted to limit the federal government's power and were followers of Jefferson and Madison. Choices, Federalists or Republicans. Next question. Jefferson and Madison believed in a blank interpretation of the Constitution. Choices, liberal or strict. Next question. The incident in which French agents demanded a bribe and a loan from the Americans became known as the choices, ABC affair or XYZ affair. Next question. In order to protect the nation's security, Congress passed the blank acts. Choices, alien and sedition or free trade. Next question. Why did Washington disapprove of political parties? Choices. He felt that they favored the rich. He feared that they would divide the nation. Next question. Which two parties emerged by the mid-1790s? Choices. Federalists and Republicans or Republicans and Democrats. Next question. Define the word aliens as it relates to this chapter in your textbook. Choices. Immigrants living in the country who are not citizens, or immigrants living in the country who are citizens. Next question. What did the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions claim? Choices. The Alien and Sedition Acts were constitutional, or the Alien and Sedition Acts were unconstitutional. Next question. The new government faced several challenges. An armed protest called the Blank involved violent attacks on government officials and destruction of property. Choices, Whiskey Rebellion or Kentucky Rebellion. Next question. General Blank gained a decisive victory over Native Americans in 1794 at the Battle of Fallen Timbers. Choices, Anthony Wayne or John Grier. Next question. As a result, the United States acquired most of the land in present-day Ohio in the Treaty of choices, Greenville or Versailles. Next question. Americans were particularly angered by the British practice of blank, in which American sailors were forced into the British Navy. Choices, looting or impressment. Next question. This practice was not addressed in blank treaty, which did result in British withdrawal from American soil. Choices, Washington's or Jay's. Next question. What was the armed protest of Western Pennsylvania farmers in 1794 called? Choices, the Whiskey Rebellion or Shays' Rebellion. Next question. Whose forces were defeated by Little Turtle in 1791? Choices, Andrew Jackson or General Arthur St. Clair. Next question. Whose forces were defeated by Anthony Wayne in the Battle of Fallen Timbers? Choices: Dances with Wolves or Shawnee Chief Bluejacket. Next question. The two rights granted by Spain in Pinckney's Treaty were first, free navigation of the Mississippi River and the right to trade at, choices, Boston Harbor or New Orleans. Next question. Why was Jay's Treaty unpopular? Choices. It did not deal with British impressment, it did not deal with British interference with American trade, or all of the above. Next question. What three departments did Congress establish in the executive branch of the government? Excuse me. Choices: State Department, Department of Treasury, Department of War, or Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Agriculture, Department of Homeland Security. Next question. What is the purpose of the Bill of Rights? Choices: to protect our individual liberties, to protect the rights of people accused of crimes, or all of the above. Next question. What was Alexander Hamilton's plan for, quote, for adequate support of public credit, close quote? Choices: for the federal government to pay off debts owed by the Confederation government to other countries, for the federal government to pay off debts owed by the Confederation government to individual American citizens, or all of the above. Next question. What did Hamilton promise Southern leaders in order to gain their support for his plan to pay off state debts? Choices: he would encourage the Department of Agriculture to increase spending on Southern crops, or he would support locating the nation's capital in the South. Next question. Jefferson and Madison opposed a national bank because they felt it was unconstitutional and that it would, choices, it would favor the poor or it would favor the rich. Next question. What is a tariff? Choices: a tax on imports or a tax on exports. Next question. Within the executive branch, what did the three department heads and the Attorney General come to be known as? Choices: the Grand Council or the Cabinet. Next question. Who was the first leader of the new Department of State? Choices: John Jay or Thomas Jefferson. Next question. How did Congress establish a federal court system? Choices: the Federal Court Act of 1788 or the Judiciary Act of 1789. Final question. What is a speculator? Choices: someone who risks money to make a profit, or someone who saves almost all of their money, creating little financial risk. That concludes Chapter 8, Final Unit Test.